We have calls for genocide against our population. We have Proud Boys showing up to events armed and ready to do damage. They're showing up to events with kids. I've been asked what I would recommend as a beginner setup. And frankly, there's a lot of different options out there that would work really well. But personally, I'm a huge fan of Turkish shotguns. Personally, I'm a big favor of supporting the community, supporting queer-owned businesses where I can. And combining those two things together, I have put together a package with Klein Arms that allows for people to get an inexpensive, badass shotgun with good optics without breaking the bank. And not only am I going to show you about this setup, I'm going to show you the things you should do to get yourself up to speed quickly with something like this. So let's get into it.
Big shout out to Klein Arms, who are a queer-owned FFL in Maine. Highly recommend their services. They have a fantastic rotating selection, and if you want anything specific, they can probably get it. Reach out to them, schedule a time to look at their shop or their inventory.
This might look like we've just glued a bit of space age to a bit of very classic technology. And that's literally what we did. The Picatinny on this is attached to the receiver. There is a lot of red dots that either they're not that bright, they're not that strong, or worse, they might not adjust for parallax properly, which means when you move your head between positions, the dot is physically moving off the target. That's why my recommendation for a starting build is going to include this basic solid Turkish shotgun and a surprisingly almost equally expensive red dot. This is a Crimson Trace M270, and this is it has shake awake. It's got a very powerful dot. Even in this incredibly bright sun, I am seeing the dot very clearly. I am able to come in and get on target very rapidly. We have just run dry. Now, defensively, shooting a shotgun can be a little bit like playing Hungry Hippos. This is one of the hungriest weapons you're going to come across. It demands to constantly be fed. You should get used to having pockets, having anything you can full of extra ammo. At the moment, I've got my little pouch. So grab a shell from your holster. This is a trick you should absolutely master. Put the shotgun round between your two fingers and have it so that you are controlling it with your whole hand. That way, when you go up, you can toss it in and it will be, you're popping it into a hole larger than the shell itself. And as long as you have your fingers on the edges of the shell, there is nowhere for it to go but properly into the hole. By having your fingers on the end of each part of the shell and lining it up with the ejection port, you can very easily just pop that one in and keep going. Now, if you want to continue loading ammunition, you can grab more and be topping from the bottom. But you'll notice your hand's gonna stammer a little bit because it's a bit of a weird shape. So frequently, the best thing to do is physically rotate it so you have your eyes looking at what you're doing. Pull the gun into your workspace and try and make it so you can very quickly and easily load in the next shells. And as soon as you have what you need, go back online. There is something in shooting called height over bore. And essentially what that means is the dot that you are shooting in space isn't exactly where the end of this barrel is. There is that much difference between where you are aiming and where you will actually be hitting. And one of the resulting bits of weirdness from that is if you go to engage cover, now right here, this might seem like I am effectively engaging around cover because my dot is just over the horizon. But in reality, that more than likely means I am going to be hitting the dirt and rocks right in front of me rather than actually hitting the target. The most effective way to be using cover with something like this is to be moving with it at a low ready. Use your head as low over the cover as possible and pop up, then immediately pop, get your target, shoot, and come back down. Come up, pop, and back down. One of the most important rules in all of fighting. If the enemy knows where you are, don't be there. So cover with a pump shotgun becomes a little bit more complicated because of that. Because the goal is to come online, coming down, you hear the bangs, come around, pop up, then pump, and be moving to a new spot for your next engagement. The idea that you can safely pop out in the same spot means that wherever you were shooting from, they can just shoot at where the muzzle flash was. They don't even need to clearly see you. And you want to have every advantage possible in a fight where your community is at stake.
That's it. Thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, it's been a minute since I've uploaded. Sorry about that. Should be coming up more regularly. Really haven't had much funding for this, so I've had to focus on some kind of real life stuff. But I'm really excited to get back to be making some content, so be looking out for that. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's stuck with this channel, especially everybody on my Patreon who's been able to enable me to continue doing this, especially with the weirdness that is all of life and all of the volunteering stuff I've had to do of late. World's wild, y'all. Big shout out to Klein Arms for making this possible, and also putting together the deal itself. There's still a few copies over there. I highly recommend going and picking one up, or if not, going and checking out her inventory. But that's gonna be it from me. Stay dangerous, y'all. Keep each other safe. And remember, moral doesn't mean legal, and Stonewall was a fucking riot. Peace.